So we're back. I actually have Diet Coke in my cup. This is okay. So
Leads
the
in
conversation.
perfectly.
So I always say like I'm half crunchy. Like I like stuff that I know is good for me, and then every once in a while I love a good, like plucked right out of the matrix, plucked right out of the system, the shit that is just bred for addiction. And Diet Coke is my drug of choice.
Yeah, so I think we have to go back to like what Matrix actually is, so that we can give. Anytime we talk about Matrix, like this is what
we mean.
What it is. It's basically the game of the reality that we're in. Because in no way, shape, or form were we meant to work the way that we are, do the things that we do, ingest the chemicals that we ingest, and, you know, all the other conspiracy theories out there. Which, again, if you want to go down the deep, dark hole, we're going to give you a little tidbit. So when we talk about the Matrix, we're talking about this, well, it's a real reality, but it's almost like a fake reality. It's like a game, okay? That's what our society has come to.
Yeah, it's
essentially.
It's all about structure, and we can't exist in this reality without a structure. So I guess the question becomes, does that matrix support us or not? When you start to see that it's a system, you can become more consciously aware of whether or not you want to engage with it based on what you know. And if you don't, then you're more likely to be one of those people that's going to try to create a new way. That's where things can get really uncomfortable. So when we think about a system like school, and this is not like there's really hardworking teachers out there. There's a lot of people involved in these systems that are really trying to do their best to make it something that really cultivates a positive experience for people. But a lot of times that might be set up to fail because the system itself, the structure itself, the rules that have been embedded for so long don't allow people to really move and groove within that freedom.
Yes.
Right? So when we think about, let's stick with the student employee example and the creation of these systems so that the schooling system could breed future employees. And so what do we know about the schooling system? And I deal with this all the time with my own children. Where is it putting them in a box? Where the definition of good behavior in the school is you sit down, you shut up, you speak when spoken to, and you better ask good questions. Like you cannot get out of line. And so what happens is like you're taught essentially that that's the way you need to move and groove in this world in order to get the good mark on the report card that you then have to face your parent. And if you're not doing the right thing and it's not the right grade, you're not doing well enough. So there's no space for the individual experience and that natural alignment to emerge. So then what happens? We're doing that full time. I mean, this is a blessing if you're in school too. So this is where it becomes very controversial, number one, the topic at large. And number two, it also becomes where this benefit equation starts to come into play. Well, at least I have access to good school and I'm able to read. Like these are all really great things. These can be gifts. And so all these other feelings that might be coming up could feel selfish. It could feel like I have guilt that I even feel that, right? So there's a domestication process that happens very early on that is equated to a system of risk and reward. And so when we're years and years and years of school, how many hours a week need to stay in line? The structure has been defined and we graduate. Guess what? We're going into potentially, again, more school, where now those behaviors of clocking in, I'm going full time, I need to stay in line, I need to ask good questions, I need to speak when spoken to at the same time, and I can't get out of line or give too much of my own individual perspective because it's not going to be seen as a strength. It's going to be seen as a threat.
So when I was growing up, I actually went to Catholic school. This was like the beginning of, this was my experience with religion. And they would have us go into like theology, and then we'd have to go into like confession and like the church and things like that. And I remember having a conversation with the father, like during confession, right? And he was like, all right, Gina, well, first of all, if you've never been to confession with the priest and they have this little thing they slide open and it's like you can't see their full face, they're looking forward and you just see like the shadow of their face when you look over. And it's not the full thing because it's like there's a design pattern in there, so like you just see the side of a like a man's face
behind the curtain.
Yeah. And all of a sudden he goes, all right, well, says this little spiel and then asks me what I'm like how I've sinned. I go, Father, I don't think I sinned this week. I was really good.
I was a good girl. I'm in school.
I went to school.
I stayed in line. I stayed in my seat.
I said, I don't think I really don't. Like, I tried really hard because I had learned from the last week, all my sins. So I was like, all right, I'm really gonna try
I'm
this
on
week.
track
Like,
this
I'm good. I'm tracking. I'm good. I'm writing my letter to Santa. He knows what I want. Like I'm good. I'm on the good girls list. So he goes, well, you must have sinned for something. And I was like, I don't think I did. Like, I've really tried really hard. Like, I did all my chores. I did all my, like, everything. And he goes, well, you ate, didn't you? And I was like food? Yeah. He said, well, that's a sin.
Answering, yeah.
That's a sin, Gina. So you have to ask to be forgiven. And I was like, well,
tell me more.
So that rocked my whole world. And so I went through that like confession, just being like, no, I don't think this is right, man. Why would we be here and we have to eat if like, so that's really what made me like kind of question some of the systems that we had, because that, I just remember it stuck out to me so much, and like, it never sat right with me. And I just remember that story. I remember that day like it was like yesterday, of just going into that confessional and just being
what a
like,
shame cycle.
Man, I really like did so good this week. Like, Father's gonna be so proud because like I'm gonna go in and saying like, no, I didn't. And it was like, even though you did everything right, like you still have sinned. And I just remember breaking down and being like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually kind of crazy. I think where like my matrix mind kind of like started a little bit, because I started questioning the systems. And to go based on your point of like, they want us to sit down in chairs and kind of like learn and memorize and listen and take tests to just recall information. That is where like a lot of my questions started to pop up.